This is a really good site called watchtowerdocuments.org from Barbara Anderson, and she used to be a Watchtower Society researcher for the actual religion, and so she really knows her material, and she provides her research here and her knowledge here. And this is really good information to know because it will reveal to you how the society is broken up into different corporations and what those corporations do. And she shows here how the names have changed and the different movements of certain corporations. They're divided into the financial part of it, then there's the publishing part, and then there's the spiritual part, etc. So I'll just start reading here. Watchtower or Watchtower, which is it? Ever wonder why the name Watchtower, one word, is sometimes written Watchtower, two words? Does it matter? What are the legal ramifications? What does the Watchtower have in common with the People's Pulpit Association of New York? The answers to these questions and more are thoughtfully presented from a historical perspective. Name confusion, case in point. Notice the way the word or words under discussion are written in the March 5th, 2001 Christianity Today article. Sex Watchtower undergoes corporate shakeup. Jehovah's Witnesses organization changing structure. Mark A. Kellner. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, the corporate body of the Jehovah's Witnesses, has restructured itself at a time when the group's growth rate is slowing. This illustrates writing the name of the same Pennsylvania corporation two different ways. A discerning and confused reader might wonder why Mr. Kellner did this. Probably because he, like most people, didn't know it made a difference. In the first instance, Mr. Kellner was correct when he used two words, Watchtower, to identify the corporation that was undergoing a shakeup. In the second instance, he wrongly used one word, Watchtower, for the name of the Pennsylvania corporation. Two corporations. For clarity, here are some details worthy of note about these corporations that use the name Watchtower or Watchtower, which represent Jehovah's Witness interests. Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, Incorporated. Originally established in 1884 under the name Zion's Watchtower Tract Society. In 1896, the name was changed to Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Since 1955, it has been known as Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, Incorporated. Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, Inc., previously known as People's Pulpit Association of New York, formed in 1909. In 1939, the name People's Pulpit Association was changed to Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, Inc. Since 1956, it has been known as Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, Inc. Various corporate roles. Since its inception, Watchtower of New York has directed the congregational/organizational aspects of the religion of the Witnesses. In the year 2000, JW leaders formed yet another corporation, which the March 5, 2001 Christianity Today article stated, will oversee religious matters. The name of this corporation is Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, Inc., which now oversees the preaching work of Jehovah's Witnesses in the U.S., Bermuda, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. In other words, this legal entity was established to organize and administer congregational affairs of Jehovah's Witnesses. Among other things, Watchtower of New York can prepare and distribute confidential letters to the elders of Jehovah's Witness congregations. One might think this work should always fall under the auspices of Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, Incorporated, since correspondence from headquarters to field leaders of the religion would certainly fall into the category of religious matters. But according to their own literature, other corporate entities connected with the Watchtower may communicate with special representatives of their organization, such as elders and district and circuit overseers, all on behalf of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. The Watchtower Library on CD-ROM is owned by Watchtower of Pennsylvania. In-house attorneys use Watchtower of New York letterhead stationery for correspondence. Watchtower of PA presently holds the copyright on the organization's books, booklets, and the Watchtower and Awake magazines. However, Watchtower of New York is the publisher. As an example, Watchtower Publications Index was named this way because Watchtower of PA holds the copyright for the majority of the literature that is indexed in the book, but Watchtower of New York published the index. Presently, Watchtower of New York publishes the Watchtower magazine while Watchtower of PA holds the copyright. But it wasn't always that way. Sometime during 1988, Watchtower of PA ceased publishing the Watchtower and Watchtower New York became the publisher. Watchtower of PA maintains an insurance desk that provides their proprietary KHAA insurance plan, Kingdom Hall Assistance Arrangement insurance plan for Kingdom and Assembly Halls and organizationally owned automobiles, etc. That desk also takes care of paying health care expenses for its representatives, and the Watchtower PA pays for special traveling representatives' expenses as well as Bethel volunteer workers' allowances, etc. This is the corporation that handled out-of-court settlement claims that totaled upward of $12.5 million paid in early 2007 to 16 JW victims of child sexual abuse by JW pedophiles. Watchtower of PA basically controls the religion's assets. Donations in the form of direct contributions, loans, and wills are directed to this corporation. Watchtower PA letterhead stationery was used by JW spokesman J.R. Brown when he replied to questions from a producer of an NBC Dateline program about JWs and child sexual abuse. Watchtower of PA holds title to most of the religion's considerable real estate. In their official history book, Jehovah's Witnesses Proclaimers of God's Kingdom, Watchtower of PA is said to have facilities such as Watchtower Farms. In addition, Watchtower PA began to build in 1989 the Watchtower Educational Center located in Paterson, New York. Journal title explained. When referencing the major religious journal connected with Jehovah's Witnesses, whether to write Watchtower or Watchtower, one should take into account the publishing date of the journal. Zion's Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Presence began to be published by Charles Taze Russell in July 1879. The word Zion's in the title was dropped, starting with the January 1, 1909 issue to coincide with the removal of the Society's headquarters. And the article is found here. From Allegheny, PA to Brooklyn, New York. The name then read the Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Presence. Almost 30 years from the debut of Russell's journal in 1879, the words Watchtower and the title was changed to Watchtower as seen on the cover of the October 15, 1931 issue. This cover can be viewed in the Witnesses History book on page 724, where there are 5 different covers displayed. The October 15, 1931 cover is the 5th one shown. Aside, this historic issue discussed the group's name, or new name, Jehovah's Witnesses, a name introduced and adopted at a convention on July 26, 1931 in Columbus, Ohio. Not only was the name Bible students changed to Jehovah's Witnesses and the word Watchtower to Watchtower, but the entire October 15, 1931 Watchtower cover was redesigned, the result being most of the semblance to the magazine created by Russell was eliminated. This was part of the alteration of image and removal of important organizational structure and beliefs associated with Russell that Joseph F. Rutherford, who was the second president of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of PA, was occupied with. An emblem popular with the Bible student movement was a cross within a crown. That image disappeared from the cover of the October 15, 1931 Watchtower as well as windows in a lighthouse that appeared to look like crosses. The actual lighthouse illustration, along with the beacons of light shining from the top of the edifice down to breaking ocean waves, was gone. In its place, 2 stone watchtowers built upon a high wall with sentries watching over the wall were featured. The sunrise coming up over a mountain was replaced with an illustration of Ezekiel's vision of a heavenly chariot with wheels within wheels, accompanied by angels blowing trumpets. References to Jesus as the Rock of Ages and ransom for all were replaced with Isaiah 43:12, "Ye are my witnesses, saith Jehovah, that I am God." Along with that change, located on the inside cover page under the title, "Its Sacred Mission," no longer found were the words, "It," the journal, "stands firmly upon the great ransom sacrifice as the fundamental doctrine by which all doctrines are measured," and the list of those who made up the editorial committee was removed. For the next nearly 8 years, the primary purpose of the Watchtower was to prod the group's followers to take seriously their so-called commission and duty that went along with bearing the name Jehovah's Witnesses, which was to herald Christ's presence. Clever step-by-step transformation. With the January 1, 1939 issue, the title, "The Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Presence," was changed to "The Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Kingdom." Note the word presence was replaced by kingdom. Aside inasmuch as for nearly 62 years, from July 1879 to December 15, 1938, the intent of the journal was to show that since 1874, Jesus Christ had been present, invisible to man, yet exercising his power and doing the preliminary work among the nations and peoples of earth, preparatory to the inauguration of his kingdom of righteousness. The change from the word presence to kingdom was major. Here's the source for the quote. Along with the title, the message changed to "Announcing Christ's Invisible Presence as Beginning in 1874" disappeared from the journal. The date for the witnesses to herald was 1914, which they announced was the birth of God's heavenly kingdom, and this was why the word presence, found in the Watchtower's title, was altered to read kingdom. This revised title lasted for only 4 issues, ending with the February 15, 1939 Watchtower. Beginning with the March 1, 1939 issue, the title became "The Watchtower Announcing Jehovah's Kingdom." Aside, this change was transformational. If the purpose of Jehovah's Witnesses, as their name implies, is to witness about or herald, announce Jehovah, then the name, "The Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Kingdom," didn't fit the function of their mouthpiece journal. No longer was the group's message about Christ's presence or Christ's kingdom, but their core message was about Jehovah's kingdom. And the new title, "The Watchtower Announcing Jehovah's Kingdom," has remained unchanged since 1939, although the cover design has been updated a number of times. The name of the corporation, People's Pulpit Association of New York, was also altered in 1939. Using the same one-word name as is in the journal title, Watchtower, the name of the Witnesses New York Corporation was changed to become Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, Incorporated. What's in a name? It has been stated that one's entire identity is in their name, no more so than tied in with the identities of Watchtower, or Watchtower, and Watchtower, different instruments connected with Jehovah's Witnesses. The first, Watchtower, is coupled with the name Charles Taze Russell, founder of both that corporation and the Watchtower Journal, the second, Watchtower. Both the corporation and the Watchtower Journal are joined with the name Joseph F. Rutherford, the judicious, attention-grabbing second president of the movement that Russell founded. So before you write one of these names in your blog, in your post on a discussion board, or in an article meant for publication, do some checking first so the name correctly identifies what you're talking about. Jehovah's Witnesses corporate arm formed in Pennsylvania, or the one formed in New York, or the major mouthpiece Journal of Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower before the October 15, 1931 issue, or that same journal, the Watchtower beginning with the October 15, 1931 issue. All of these names have a specific identity of importance in the functioning of Jehovah's Witnesses organization at different times or used for different purposes. So there have been many changes through the years, as you've seen, and in the beginning, Charles Taze Russell had to change from Pennsylvania and move over to New York with a different name, stemming from problems in his marriage and the separation there, and what he was doing in his personal life also affected this, I'm sure. And when he died, Rutherford took over. Things drastically changed. So when there are problems financially or with power-hungry people, or if there's problems spiritually, then the Watchtower has to change their structure. And now I brought in the jw.org website, and I'm not sure if that's an actual corporation. That's yet to be discovered with further research. I do understand that the copyrights are still from Pennsylvania, and I believe the Watchtower of New York publishes the videos that they create. And another thought that I want to bring into is the governing body don't have to answer to Watchtower because they are under the corporation of Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. So they don't answer to anything that's published from New York, and they are provided financially by Watchtower of Pennsylvania. So they are hidden under the corporation of a congregation incorporated.